on a day like that, aren't they? An occasion like that?
No question. I think, I mean, so much has been said, and it's difficult to add anything that carries any further weight, but I think respected around the world, really, and clearly you'd have to say our greatest ever player. When you think of not only the World Cup, but also winning the European Cup and everything he did at club level as well. So very sad. We're fortunate to have met him a few times, and incredibly humble. So yes, our condolences with all his family, and yeah, but hopefully when we get the chance to honour him at Wembley, almost a celebration of his life, really, because I think he absolutely deserves that.
Thank you. Between now and then.
Well, I mean, the door is 100% open, not only for Raheem, but for other players that aren't in this squad. So there's no doubt about that. I mean, we don't need to know about his quality, his personality. He is a crucial part of why we've had the journey we've had over the last few years. So I can only repeat what I've said in the last couple of squad selection meetings. The team are playing really well. We had an exceptional win here against Italy last time round. Who do we leave out to put him in? So it's as simple as that, really.
Has he upset you? Is there a damaged relationship here that needs to be, made amends about? Has he done anything wrong?
No.
It's an important question, because people will ask that, Gareth, about whether there's a breakdown in the relationship between you and him.
But who am I leaving out to put him in?
It's just it's been so important to this England squad for your first 6 years. Only Harry Kane has played more games for England in the run-up to and including the World Cup, and Raheem Sterling hasn't played since the World Cup. That's pretty marked, that difference.
Yeah. Look, he wasn't available in March or June, so the team had started on a good run. We won in Italy for the first time in 60 years. The two performances in June were excellent. So we've stuck with that group. We've stuck with that group pretty much through this qualifying campaign. We've deliberately not made many changes because we've felt that that's been fair to the guys that have been in the squad. Performances have been excellent. There is huge competition for places. There's no question Raheem is looking dangerous for his club. He looks invigorated since the start of this season. And as I said, there are a few players that aren't in this squad for whom either they're injured or the door is absolutely open. We'll always be open to that. There are players in this squad that missed quite big chunks of time with us: Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier. So we've often had that type of situation. And as I say, we're really pleased with the team. So there is that continuity, really.
Lots of injury issues in that position.
Well, there is. I was hoping to call Reece James. He doesn't feel he's quite ready. And I understand that. He's had a long path back from a number of injuries. So he's probably a little bit cautious in that respect, but I can understand why. So we have got options, but yeah, there aren't perhaps the experienced options that we might have in other areas of the pitch. I think some of the younger fullbacks are doing well. I think Tino Livramento's done really well in his games for Newcastle, but I think being with the under-21s is still the right thing for him at the moment as well. I think for any player that's not playing football, it's for them about their career, really. England is a consequence of club, but you also want fulfilment, and if you're training every day, you want to play. Now, he's up against world-class players at his club, so I completely understand why he's not getting the games. And so, between him and Pep and Cheeky, I'm sure they'll discuss what's the best route forward for him. We know the quality of his play. He was, I think, in the team of the tournament in the Euros. He was our Player of the Year a couple of years ago. So we know he can play at this level, and he's at a club like Manchester City because of the level of player he is. So he's continued to do a good job for us when he's come into the team. You'd like him to be in a better rhythm of playing, but at the moment that's not the case. And equally, there aren't many players that can play in his position at the level, so that's why he's still in the squad.
Hello, Gareth. Just going back to Raheem. In June, he didn't make himself available because he didn't feel he's quite fit enough. Is that the message, that despite how many caps you've had with England, there's so much competition for places that if you don't make yourself available for camp, it could lead to your exclusion?
No, I'm not looking to send a message. That is an area of the pitch where we've probably got as much competition for places as anywhere. And, yeah, you look at Jared Bowen has got 7 goals this season already. Anthony Gordon is playing very well at Newcastle as well. Cole Palmer is starting to play well. So it's just a changing landscape there. And when we first started, we didn't really have any depth of wingers to play with wingers, if you like. We had Adam Lallana that was a different type of player. We had Marcus Rashford, we had Raheem. But we didn't have the ability to refresh the team, and that's why we played with wing-backs for a long period going into Russia. So now we have a lot more depth in those areas. I would say probably more depth there than any other position. And I understand all the questions, but that's the reality of where we are.
The one player that...
I've not spoken to him. He knows we love him. He's been exceptional in the last 3 starts with us, away in Scotland, Macedonia at Old Trafford, here against Italy. So we're really happy with him. We think his form with us has been good. He's scored goals. I think he enjoys his football with us. For me, there's nothing to discuss.
Quite a bit of surprise at the handling of how he went out for his own birthday, reported for training the next day, trained well, apologised to his manager for the perception of how that looked, but then that apology and that conversation was raised in a press conference again. Is that how you would handle it?
What happens at his club's nothing to do with me.
And looking to last night and the VAR decision for the red card on Marcus, when things are condensed down to a still, do you think that's a fair interpretation of an event?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's unlucky. I think it's a red card because in the end, the action takes him into a collision with the player, but everybody in football knows he's trying to protect the ball and get his body across the ball. So, just really unfortunate, I would say, in that respect. And
Chelsea against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a lot of the time on the pitch with players static, waiting for decisions. You inherit these players, and it's exactly how you pick up hamstring injuries, muscle injuries. Is that a concern for you? You must be quite glad watching that. You're not a Premier League manager at the moment.
Well, I was bored watching the game. I was at the game, and it just kept stopping. So, never mind the players, what about the fans? Now, the flip side of that is, I think all the decisions were right in the end. So if that's the purpose of the game, then fine. But yeah, it's sucking the enjoyment out of goals. And I think the ball in play time for that game was incredibly low, even though we had 21 minutes of extra time. So yeah, that would be, well, I talked about VAR a month ago. There's no point in me going over what I think about it. Would you like to see
automated offside, semi-automated offside coming into the Premier League, though?
I'm not really bothered. You know, let's let the linesmen put their flag up like they always did. If we want to give the benefit of the doubt to the forwards, as used to happen, that's fine. We're looking for perfection in an imperfect world. There'll always have to be decision-making, interpretation. So let's just accept the referees and lines' decisions and crack on with the game.
Do you think the line between clear and obvious has been taken too far the other way?
Well, I think if you search for problems in a penalty box, you know, if you want to freeze any corner, then you could give free kicks, penalties either way, easily. So it depends what the purpose of the instrument is. I've said before, I wasn't for it at the start. I've seen nothing to encourage a change of opinion. Yeah, it's great. I thought it might be the first time we wouldn't get a question about him. So, no, it's clearly you want your players to be enjoying their club football, and he's battling for the team. So, I'm really pleased for him. Yeah.
There's battling.
Well, I think we've got to respect the medical team, that they've gone through the protocols. As a coach, that's always out of my hands now, because as a coach there is a risk you'd always want a player to continue. But I think we all accept now that the protocols are really tight, and if that decision's made, then the players have to come out, and that's where we are. So they've got very experienced medical people there. I'm sure they went through the right procedures.
Thanks, Gary. And just finally, just one on your contract, if I can. You're obviously out of contract next summer. Do you expect to have any discussions about that before the Euros, or will you leave it till afterwards?
I'm out of contract next December, and I think any manager that is thinking beyond 7 months is in a very privileged position, really. So I'm super excited about the tournament. You know, we're really gearing towards the next tournament, and I think everybody in international football is always living from tournament to tournament. So for me, I'm really comfortable with the position. I'm loving working with this team. I'm loving working with the staff that work around the team as well. And we're looking forward to the next few months.
In your guts, do you feel like you want to stay on to 2026?
I've not even thought about it at all. The last time we played Malta here, I found out I was taking the team 4 days before the camp. Most things I've done in my life since finishing playing, I didn't know anything about until a few days before they happened. So I'm not one that has ever sort of had a plan in my mind of what my career would be, or let's just enjoy what we're doing, try and do it as well as we can, and crack on with it, really.
It would be 10 years, though. A decade as England manager would be quite an achievement.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in just racking up games or, racking up years. It's about, going and being the best team we can be and taking on those challenges. So I'm not just here to collect caps or, it's about doing the job as well as I can and being excited by it, motivating the players, having the level of performance that we've had for 6-7 years. We've been in the top 5 for the last 5 years. I think that's, good, consistent performances and results that would indicate. So, yeah, I'm genuinely not thinking about that.
Thank you.
Okay.